Welcome back, everybody. Let's do some drawing. Today, I'm thinking a little bit about the comic book character Cellar. So, I've got an idea, not much of one, but an idea. Right, let's do it. So, we're going to do the dippy pen today. Well, attempt to do so anyway. And, wish me luck. Still not very good at it, but slowly getting better at it, I think. I hope. But I just thought we'd do a small sketch just to get the right sort of shape of the character, and then we'll jump in and do it. Right, so we got leg, guys. Oh, should that be a bit further? Oh, I don't know. I figured that out. Yeah, I think it needed to be a little bit further. We'll correct that in a second. Got a shoulder here. Okay, dokie. Have a little play around, I think. His leg could come down here a bit more. And where should his other arm be? Shoulder there, shoulder would be here. Yeah, I'm aware that I always draw this comic book character sort of crouching and perching, and strangely that's kind of all the character did, other than, you know, the big comic book battles. I always thought it was just really cool. So we'll do little details here. There's his mask-ish. Right, okay, cool. And then where should his hair be going? I think his hair should be coming off the back, I think, this time. Usually I have it flowing in the wind sort of thing, but with the dippy pen, I'm not sure. Well, actually, maybe I could do it. I don't know. We'll figure that out later. That's a future me problem. There's no foot. So he's not going to be wearing his coat today because I wanted a bit more control over the anatomy, because there's not a lot going on. Where should his other leg be? His other leg could be here. Like so. Yeah, we'll do it a little bit tensed, sort of a bit of an uncomfortable angle, but still kind of cool, I think. Lovely. And he's got these on his t-shirt, his shirt, he's got these weird symbols coming down the front of him, so hopefully I can get enough of an angle to show them off a little bit better. Yeah, I think that's all right. And then, yeah, we'll do his fingers. Very rough fingers. Just want to get the right idea, because I tend to not really follow the sketch too much anyway. Okay, and then we got to think about where the shadow is properly this time, because we're doing the dip pen, and that gives us all the shadow we could ever dream for with the tool. Should his arm be over the top? I don't think so. You know what I'm going to do? Redo his leg. Rub this little bit out. We don't need that bit. Right. Okay, we'll do his leg sort of here. I think that would look a little bit better. And his leg sort of tucked back, so his calf's going to be really squished against the thigh. It might look weird, but I think that's accurate-ish. Right, so that's a absolute mess of a sketch. Look at that. It's a nightmare. Right, cool. And then foot. We'll do a big Tarzan foot. his toe here. Oh no, I changed it. There we go. Should be like that. That's fine. Fingers. Like so. Don't worry, we'll fix it as we go. Maybe, I don't know. And then, so we had this ability called smorgasbord, which was one of my favorite words. I think it's a German word. It is a German word. And what he could do is, if he sat down for too long, little bugs and mushrooms and fungi would form. And how do you draw a snail? And draw like that. Okay. And yeah, that's where we'd have for dinner. So I think he's just watching all these things form. Probably when he's prowling and waiting for the baddies to come about. I'll do lots of little mushrooms because I think they're cool. And then, what should we do as well? He has a scarf. I wonder if a scarf would make it more interesting. Let's do that. Like so. I need lots of shading as well. I'm going to give myself a little bit of a reminder to do shading before I forget it. And then maybe a bit of the scarf coming, wrapping in the wind like that. Okay, dokie. And then let's do a little bit of a floor so we know kind of where we're at. Cool. Right. Oh, time for a hot chocolate. Nice. Oops, sorry about that. Alright, let's see how we do, shall we? So where do we want to start? We want to start sort of up here. So yeah, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with the dip pen. I know that sounds really weird, but I still haven't quite figured out how to do it. And I think I hold it a bit weird as well, so that's probably why it's scratchier than it should be. I don't really know. Okie dokie. So if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you're an old friend of the channel, welcome back. Good to see you all here again. I hope you're all doing really well. Alright, so that's so far fine. It's got these like little bit of a pattern on the I don't know what it is. It's sort of like a mask, but I think it's more just, you know, some odd material that, you know, he's draped over his eyes. I presume it should be see-through, but I had this one idea when I was making the character that it's kind of like, you know, that sense when someone's watching, you know, you can just kind of know that someone's watching you. I always thought that maybe that's how he sees. So that was kind of cool and kind of trippy. We do a little bit of a stubble. Just forgot to shave today. And that's where his nose would be. And just do a few more details while we're at it. We don't want to overshoot it. Come on, Dippy pen. There you go. So yeah, if anyone uses dip pens, they could tell me what I'm doing wrong. That would be wonderful. Because like I said, I have no idea what I'm actually doing. Maybe I need a paintbrush for doing the hair. Oh no, come on, Dippy pen. Be good. There you go. Oh, now he's fighting back again. There we go. Maybe I am holding it weird. I think that's probably the most likely thing, isn't it? Because I think I hold my pen weird as well. Sort of. I don't actually know what I do, but sometimes the microns don't seem to actually want to put any ink on the paper, and I wonder if that's something to do with how I'm holding or how I'm drawing. Right, okay, well, we'll do the shoulder because the hair is fighting me a little. Oh, that's weird, see, it comes back to it then. Not sure to do loads of really dark bits, or just kind of keep it more caricature. Don't know, come on. Oh no, come on, pen. Don't fight me on this one, please. Okay, I think we got it. Maybe not. Why are you not coming out? Go on. Oh, nope. Uh-oh. Oh no, this is terrible. Oh no. Right, we're gonna have to figure out how to fix that one. Why are you not working? Come on. Be a good pen. Please. How very strange. It's kind of working now as well. So we got that big blob of ink, so we need to do something with this. So what we'll do is we'll use that to our advantage. And I guess it will be quite an inky image now because pen gods have spoken. So we're going to have to get rid of this. Oh, I suppose we could still use it for the scarves as well, couldn't we? Like so. How strange. That was purely my fault, by the way. I shouldn't have just tipped the pen like that. It was bound to be a bad idea, but sometimes I just can't help myself. Oh yeah. Okie dokie. Not too bad. Right, okay, so we're gonna have to, it's kind of done it for me now, so I need to make it nice and dark and inky. There's a hole in my paper. Oh my goodness, it went straight through. Whoops. Okie dokie. That makes sense, right, I think. I'm shaking the page a little bit, sorry about that. And then there is forearm. Right, so yeah, I'm really struggling with the dip pen. It seems to be really fighting me on this one. But then again, I'm pretty sure from watching other people use dip pen that it's probably the way I'm holding it or something, or maybe it's the ink. Maybe I haven't got the right ink. Like I said in the previous video, I just kind of grabbed the ink that had the cutest image on it, which was a little spider person. And I was like, yep, that's the ink for me, but maybe not. Then again, it could be a lot of things, couldn't it? It could be the paper, it could be the actual pen itself, because like I said before, this is quite a cheap pen. I think it came in a pack of 2 and I think it was like £6 or something like that. Actually, I wonder if I'm lighter with it. Oh, that seems to be working actually. If I'm lighter with the pen, it seems to come out more organically. Actually, you can get some really nice thin lines as well. And what I might do is when I get closer to the end, I'll run and grab a brush. I've got a little brush, I think, somewhere hiding. And that might be quite cool. I can do all the darker bits like that. We also want somewhat of an outline as well, don't we? Because there's a lot going on. So I'm going to do the ribs of the shirt as well, out and not outline, but darker. Okie dokie, that's fine, I think. And then so we have that darkened, we have that darkened. Yeah, it's fine. How's that looking so far? Oh, that's looking all right. And then we want hair on the forearms. I know it will, I think it's that little bit of a sacrifice, isn't it? When you're adding sort of, messy hair to an arm, you're always going to have that sense that, the detail's going to be a little bit off, and it's going to, affect the other lines. And it's one of the things I'm really against when I'm drawing, is having lines that overlap others. But it's, if I want to show that sort of feralness of a character, I need it. It's kind of like, I don't draw anymore, but I used to draw a lot of Wolverine, and you have to just kind of work with that messiness. And then come back here. Yeah, I don't mind the messiness, actually. Maybe it's a messy day. I'm going to do a little bit. Kind of looks like a beak, but it's meant to be just the shading, isn't it? And there's his cheekbones coming down. Nice. Cool. Right. So I was thinking, actually, I'm really enjoying procrastinating and doing all these lovely images, because at the moment I'm working on the game in the background, as if you've seen my videos before, you know all about. But I've come to a bit of a standstill with it. There's actually quite a large mechanic of the game, and it's the exploration. And the more we look into it, the more we try to kind of make it fit and work with the rest of the game. We find ourselves more inclined to just kind of almost make like a settlement game, which is a huge, weird jump. I'm very aware if you've been following us on that little board game journey. But there's so much to do with the settlement part of the game, and the exploration part was always the main thing, but lately it's actually feeling kind of tricky to kind of get it just right, and it's slowing the momentum of the game a lot, because work full time, need to sort of use that time making the game as efficient as possible. As efficient as possible. That's silly. But it's kind of true. So I need to maybe come back to doing more drawings of the game, because kind of the idea of the channel. And the more I sort of jump back and forth doing all these lovely images, it's more like, oh no, I won't be able to work on the game today. I have to do some drawings. Oh dear, I have to draw nice things. So yeah, maybe at some point I need to sort of buckle down and get it made. God, that was a ramble, wasn't it? More of a mumble. Right. How are we looking? We need to outline that ever so slightly. I'm going to do it nice and messy as well, because it's a messy day today. So I'm there. probably paper. Cool. Oh, maybe I don't need the brush actually. It's gone quite well. I just need to do lots of nice close lines. That kind of works as well. I did, I think I've spoken about this in the past, but I did a little comic book competition years ago. And it was in a little place called Derbyshire. And I did this character actually for this comic book competition, like a front cover competition. And I've been trying to find this image, you know, and I've got it somewhere, but I just can't find it. Because it'd be really cool to kind of like show what it was like then and, you know, the difference now, art style. I mean, I don't think my art style's changed massively, but I used to do a lot of digital drawing back then. And I've got kind of back into it now, but I don't know. I remember it being really good, but, you know, that's the problem with time, isn't it? I probably look at it as like a stick figure. I'd be like, what the hell is that? But we'll see. We'll see. This one, he's got his sleeve sort of up. Has some creases because his hand's slightly bent. I'm going to do some little mushrooms and fungi on his sleeve. Forgot to do that over here as well, here. Oh no, I need to remember to do this bit before I get too far and I won't be able to go back because if I get ink on my hands and I'll smudge everything horrendously. I didn't think about it, but traditionally the character has pure pitch black hair, so I could have just done that, but I don't know. The more I do it, the more I think about it, it feels like a bit of a cop-out, you know. It's a huge section, but visually it's quite cool looking. You know, kind of has that sort of the crow look to it. Cool. And I think that's quite cool actually, having the more messy feral-like hair you can actually see rather than if it was all black, it kind of, you'd have that shape, but you'd lose a little bit of the detail and I don't know. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. I'm not going to do the scarf, I don't think it needs it. Alright, we do nice big deltoid and then some shading. Nice, so, and then some creases. I guess the shirt's always quite taut, you know, even though it's maybe quite a relaxed superhero outfit, which is very relaxed superhero outfit. Still like the idea of that some superhero-like elements to the clothing. Right, it's going all right. Oh, it's nice weather outside. I mean, it's not really horrible, but nice to draw. I can still hear the birds, but they don't seem to worry about the rain or the storm going on, which is nice. And then we've got a little bit of room to actually put in his, oh, nearly, I nearly just dipped this in my hot chocolate. Don't do that. Okay. So I might leave that white actually and then put the stitch in. And then see if I can get the black to come right up next to it and sort of frame it a bit easier. Actually, that might be good actually if I frame it entirely. That way arm stands out. I don't need to be trying to think of some clever way to show that is the arm where it ends. There we go. It's a bit of a mess here, but I quite like it. You know, it's kind of the clothing's coming down and a little bit of the unknown. Kind of dig that. I mean, I could black it all out and, you know, try and figure that out a bit better, but I actually kind of like the mess of it all. Maybe I will black out a little bit because it's very, very unclear, but I don't know. We'll think about that towards the end, I think. Who knows? Maybe we will. And just add in a few little creases and bits here just so it doesn't feel too samey. Right, so, oh, nearly dipped in the hot chocolate again. Might need to move that because I'm going to do it eventually. You sit over there. Right. Very cool. Right. It's looking alright so far, isn't it? A little bit messy, but nice messy. Nice. Okay. We're doing alright. Doing alright indeed. Other than that little time at this, I'm gonna jinx it now, but other than that little bit at the start with the pen, it's actually been fine all the way through. You know, it sometimes gets a little stuck, but I think that's maybe the paper I'm using. Cool. Nice. Come on, pen. Work with me here. That's a good pen. Right. Okay. The leg. Right, so we have to be careful about the leg now because I don't want... God, the birds are really loud. I don't want the leg to kind of be lost within the image. I need to figure out a way to do that. I haven't quite figured it out in my head. Okay, so we got the arm. We got the back. That's going to come down. Leave a couple of little spaces because I'm going to draw some little mushrooms coming in and out. Like so. And then one up here, mixed with the hair. That's cool. So yeah, this character was, yeah, he had a couple of powers, and none of them particularly powerful. But he had this one that he would make all the fungi around him sort of build up and all the spores and stuff. And it wasn't like he was really powerful or really strong, but he would make everyone else weak around him. So yeah, it was a sort of a long battle sort of idea that he, you know, you couldn't just jump in and fight anyone. You would have to wait until these spores and things just made everyone else a little bit weaker, you know, which I always thought was a really cool idea. You know? It's not like he's getting stronger, he's making everyone else weaker. I always thought it was kind of cool. Cool. So there was a little bit of negative space here, and I kept looking at it. Outline that a little bit more. Cool. And then lots of little fungi bits. The closer to the hands, I want more. You know, it's kind of where he builds it all up. And there was also another power that you could kind of move the reverie, that's what he called it, towards his hands or part of his body, and make almost like armor. It's kind of cool. Well, I thought it was kind of cool anyway. There's a little fungi there. I'm going to do a couple of little spores just going around. Not too many, just enough. There we go. Cool. Right, how we do in the leg? We're just going to go for it and see how we go. I think that's the best way, not to overthink or worry about it. And I forgot to do the rips, so I have to figure that out really quick as well. So maybe this is a very large rip. And then have another rip here. Nice. Like that. Right. Let me have a little think about this and then come back to it. Well, I literally spent no time thinking. I don't know why I do this. I just pause. Anyway. Dear me. Oh, speak of the devil, the boiler. Right. I'll pause again. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I zoomed in a little bit as well. Just thought it needed a little bit closer. I didn't realize how far away I actually was. Right, so we got calf. I know it looks really exaggerated, but kind of like that. Right, so how do we do this? Because we don't want to interact too much with the arm, because it will get lost. I suppose what we could do is one like that. I'll come back and clean that a little bit later on, but I think that's alright for now. Wow, the storm's really going now outside. Feels really nice. Feels really nice? Sounds really nice. Right, okay. I also, on my little adventure downstairs, found the pen I was talking paintbrush I was talking about. So if we do need some really darkened areas, which we'll do that and that little section there, then we can. Sorry, I'm shaking the camera. Right. And might do it there as well. Like so. And then cool. I'll do a couple of lines here, kind of like, it's almost like the jeans he's wearing is kind of taut and to the point of ripping. Kind of cool. Is that right? Cool. And then we might even do this foot totally darkened out. Does that look okay or look weird? Or maybe we won't darken out. It's going to look strange, I think. Oh, I've added too many toes. Oh, whoops. Maybe we will darken that out. Right, how should we do this bit? Okay, I think we add a glove here as well. I want a little glove. I think a glove would be cool. Nice and ripped and Okay. We are well on our way to finishing this. Actually hasn't been too bad. It's been fairly successful, I'd say, so far, except for the one point where the Dippy Pen and I had arguments, but I think we've resolved it now. We're seeing more eye to eye. Eye to nib. And then a couple of little details, little nail. Cool. Cool. Right. And then this one, we kind of want interaction with the mushrooms below, but we'll do these first because otherwise I'm definitely going to stick my hand in the middle of the ink and then it will be chaos. They're a mushroom. And so, wow, I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it's really nice. We don't want too much black on the mushrooms, even though I guess the character would be overshadowing it a little bit, but we'll ignore that. We'll ignore some physics for this one. Right. And then another little mushroom here. And we want it to kind of interact with the snail behind. And then one there. One of those weird frilly gill mushrooms. Doo-doo-doo. And lots of little spores and things of that nature. Cool. Like that. And this one's kind of overshadowed by the big one. Cool, like that. Wonder if we should do pencil as well. Yeah, I think so. Let's see how we do, actually. And if we want to do that later on, we can. And just move it up ever so slightly. Yeah. So we want to be able to see this lovely snail. Beep. Right. This is the sort of thing I think, maybe I should probably use a reference at some point for some of this stuff. So I can see a snail in my head, but if it's actually accurate, I don't know. Like with the shell and stuff, you know. I think it'd be alright. It's a comic snail. It doesn't need to be exact. Well, for my comic anyway. Alright, I'm going to do a little bit of shade in here. And I'll just do a little line all the way through. There we go. There's Barbara the snail. She had a nice day. Seen her friends. Just hung out really. Doing what snails do best. And the life of a snail. I don't know what that's like. Get a bit more ink. Yeah, you know when you've started becoming a professional procrastinator, when you start drawing the snail longer than the actual image. Some little dots. And that's this shell come around here. Alright, cool. Right, must stop drawing a snail. and draw image. Right. Then we'll do another mushroom here, very thin stemmed one. And as we go up, a little bit more shade in. Just make it nice and full of texture. And do some little bits around here as well. Kind of like a very alien fly agaric. Very cool. And then some little ones down here. Still brothers and sisters just hanging out. And then we'll do another one here, and then we'll call it a day on the old mushrooms because we don't want to draw anymore. Cool. Like that. Lovely, lovely. Right, and then so this hand doesn't have a glove on, but it's going to be sort of bent and sort of like perching on the ground, you know, putting lots of pressure on the fingertips. And I guess that would be like that. And finger there, finger there, and then this last finger, sort of this little one, just there hanging out. Like that. And some mushrooms. A few more details just to give it a little bit more zest to it all. Okay, cool. How are we doing? How are we doing for time? Oh, okay. That's not too bad. I feel like it's missing something though. Let's do, actually, got a paintbrush. Let's see how this works. It's not the finest hairs by any means. I think this brush came free with something. It's not, that's not too bad actually. Could be nice and rough for a little bit, and then we'll pay attention more when we get to the finer details. We might even add, might just leave a little bit of ink all through it, like that, especially on the edges, because I'm going to go over with a dippy pen because I don't quite trust, not so much the brush, but myself with a brush. So then we can use the dippy pen to, is that what it's called, a dippy pen? I feel like I'm using the wrong term. Yeah, this is looking alright. Yeah, so I hope you're all doing really well actually. I don't know if I spoke about that before, but I hope you're all doing really well and enjoying your December so far. If, in fact, you watch this in December. And whatever month you may be in when you do watch, I hope you're having a nice day. Behind the scenes, we're working on the game that we've nicknamed The Wastes. It's gone through a couple of names actually, but I'm just going to stick to The Wastes for now. Seems accurate actually. And there was another game that we worked on years ago. Yeah, everything's years ago apparently. Yeah, it's true. Because I make something, then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to release that or not. But it's kind of like a chess game. strangely enough, and we're just sort of thinking what to do with it. So we like the idea of having it with wood, and this is the game that we talked about the other week, actually, I think, on here. Because we want the game made of wood, because it's, like I said, very similar to chess. But we just don't know where to actually get that sort of thing published, or well, rather manufactured. We wouldn't do a Kickstarter or anything. I think we just buy units in, sell them. If people wanted it, we, get more made and just do small batches. But I'm not a huge fan of Kickstarter. Personal choice, that's all. Cool. Right, I think we're coming up to the end now. What do you reckon? I did a little bit of the background ground, and we'll probably leave it as that. We'll just do a couple of little, just make that line a little bit more interesting than just a line. And I know there's no shadow on the floor, but I don't really know how to navigate it without going over too much of what's already there. So I won't do that. So I know I'll do something weird. But yeah, that looks pretty much done to me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm quite happy with that. Almost. No issues with the dip pen, which is pretty exciting, really. Do we want to do any more here? We could do a little bit more there. And yeah, cool. Have I smudged? Oh, a little bit. I think I got away with it. Ooh. Right, you know what? Let's leave it there, because no doubt I will smudge it at some point. But let's do this so it's all artsy. Look at that. Very professional. And with that, sorry, just showing you the remnants of my hot chocolate. But with that, thank you ever so much for all your lovely comments, your kind words, your support, and thank you so much to my patrons and my old Druid Biscuit Party patron. Thank you for keeping us in with the biscuits, and thank you to each and every one of you that watches it, and yeah, just likes and subscribes, and yeah, you all have a good day. Goodbye.